Can you tell that I'm a first child? Good morning. I love to read. In fact, I grew up out of the womb reading, probably. And as I grew through my childhood, I really enjoyed books that were all across the range, everything from history to science fiction to those really cool novels that really influenced my path throughout life. I had an amazing teacher in 5th grade, Miss Feldhouse, who introduced me to a really cool experience with reading called Choose Your Own Adventure. I don't know those of you who've heard of these little storybooks. Choose Your Own Adventure stories are these really cool books where you read through the first, 50 pages or so, and you get to a point where you get to choose your next path. And you get to do this thing or this thing. And then you turn to the next page, turn to page, 24, and you go one direction. Or turn to page 55, and you go a different direction. And the story kind of moves that way through the rest of the book until you end one way or another. So as you go through these choose your own adventures, me being the first child that I am, always wanted the best adventure. And I really always wanted to find the longest adventure. And page 82. Oh, I hated page 82. Because page 82 had the stop on it. And the stop was the end of the adventure. And it was always some really boring way to stop. It was something like, oh, you go to your friend's house for a sleepover, and your friend gets sick, so you have to go home and go to bed early, the end. So I hated page 82 and those darn stops. So what would I do? I would flip back to page 42 and find the next path and try a different direction until I got the longest adventure through the book, until there was no way to go any other direction, and I'd read every single option that there was in that Choose Your Adventure book. Absolutely fun to go back and redo those experiences in different ways. So kind of like life is, right? We get to go out and experience what we want. We make those mistakes. We have sick friends and have to go home and go to bed, and then we wake up the next morning and we do it again and hopefully do something differently, and hopefully your friends aren't sick and you get to go, to the mall the next day. The books were very entertaining for my 5th grade self. Trust me, the mall was a great thing in 5th grade. But so much like life, these Choose Your Own Adventure books were all about learning and growing throughout your young life and really today. And so I was thinking back about what that looked like for me as a young protege, somebody who gets to learn from those people that are really my mentors and the people I get to grow from. And getting to go back and do that over and over again, and really learning and growing and redoing that opportunity over and over until hopefully a long time from now I hit page 82 and stop. So I wanted to kind of share a bit about what that looks like for me as a protege, as somebody who learns from people, and what those people looked like to me. So starting off in 6th grade, my very first experience with a mentor of mine was my very best friend, who was an amazing tennis player. At least I thought so. In 6th grade, she kicked my butt all the time. And so I would go out to the tennis courts in the middle of, in the middle of the evening when it started to get dark, and we'd be out there playing tennis, and she would teach me all kinds of amazing skills and ways to, backhand the ball across the court and really move forward in learning and growing in an athletic capacity. But at some point you kind of do hit that redo and stop, and and you have to kind of go back and grow. Well, my opportunity was like, hey, I had to move, and I had to find a new route and a new choose your own adventure. So I kind of rewound those pages and went a different direction. In high school, my math teacher was my mentor. I loved math, absolutely loved it. In fact, I thought I was going to be an astronaut. I went to college for mathematical physics, of all things. Didn't graduate that, again, my path fear. But as a protege, as learning from a mentor in high school, I realized I didn't learn about math. I learned about being a good teacher. So I actually graduated college with a psychology degree and went into education. Totally different path, totally different adventure. But the skills that I learned from him are not the skills that I thought I was going to. So again, rewind and kind of choose that different path. Really an interesting process looking back on those little adventure books, right? Fun stuff. In education, I had a great mentor as a principal who taught me everything that I wanted to be about a great leader. And really learning and following that process was an amazing opportunity for me. And learning how to be a good person was something that I learned from him, and never thought that that's something you should learn from a principal, somebody who's leading a school, working with children, with somebody who should teach you how to get to class on time, right? Definitely not my path that I thought. Here with Pikes Peak Toastmasters, I have wonderful mentors, everybody in this room, everybody on camera, in different ways. I am a young protege learning from each and every one of you here. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow, and hopefully someday be a mentor to you all in some aspect. I will close with the following quote. The willingness to follow your own adventures and take a leap of faith leads to the opportunity to know the best. Author unknown. All right. Woo!